I want to show one tiny idea, game, and before that I will show a quick one and then how something influenced at least one of my games in a very direct way. You know, it's amazing, like look at that, Karpov, Kasparov, Kasparov, Korchnoi, and then, you know, putting, I will have to apologize for them for putting it, but I'm the one standing here lecturing. I want to start with actually with this game, because this is very interesting game. This game, for example, is one of those when you hear that a player has an isolated pawn, you want to exchange the pieces, right? Because the strategical weakness of the isolated pawn will stay, and the initiative that comes with the pieces will disappear. Oh, this is one of those games. I mean, just very, very quickly, let's look at it from black side, just to see the critical point in it. Actually, we mentioned, right, that when you want to play in a world championship match, you know, forget about, at least old stuff, forget about all those Grunfeld and King's Indian, and that's what you play. Although, we'll see the next one. The next one will be maybe more interesting from opening choice, but okay. This is interesting. When I look at this position, there is one move that I immediately think about. No other way to think. Which move is that? D5, right? Because the general wisdom, I will say, is saying that when you have an isolated pawn, when you get to play D5, you're supposed to be somewhat better. Supposed to be, because what's usually happening? You have a strategic weakness that is being compensated by more active pieces, space and more active pieces. If you manage to get rid of your strategic weakness, well, you should be left with a tiny bit more active pieces. So actually, in this position, I thought that D5 is advantage, but it's nothing. Take. Knight f4, there is tiny problem. The bishop cannot retreat to b3 because capture, and you cannot capture with this rook. Knight e2 check. It's about equal. Believe me, believe Karpov, or believe Houdini, like Ben is saying. But after bishop b3, that's interesting. What should black play now? But b6 would be actually wrong. Because after b6 I play d5, and then tiny problems over there. I don't know, you know, to be honest, I don't totally remember, but if I remember, if I will have to bet, I don't want to allow d5, that's it. No, knight d5 you will be tiny worse. I will take, and okay, you know, tiny worse there, I think. A knight f6, right? Basically saying, okay, that was last call to get rid of your isolated d-pawn. It's working for Karpov. Okay, and then even this position is reasonable. Okay, bad move. Bad move, exchanging this one. Take, and bishop c6, right? Bad move, because now suddenly you understand that he has a little problem. If take, how should black take back? Pawn, right? Maybe. No, pawn or rook. And if you take with the rook and I take after? Basically anything other than taking with the knight would be reasonable. And probably take with the rook is better, is the best. If take, because it's incredible, but this pawn is weaker than this. No, it's very simple, right? Hopefully I won't get checkmated if bishop c2. Then I play queen b6. This is weak, this will be weak, knight f5. I can put more pressure against this one. This one is going nowhere. Oh, this is supposed to be black's better here. Oh, apparently he played this way. Okay, good. Yeah, rook c3. So, you know, Coach Noy, that, you know, we, personally, there's not, you know, not enough words that I can say about him. You know, he's amazing, more than amazing, for many reasons. Some of them are also positive, but no. No, but all in all, you know, I remember when I was 16. I was 16 and I played with Coach Noy, and it was first round in Vikanzen. They had special system there, and I made a draw with white, and I was working with girlfriend after it and some other, and he said, you know, you just made draw with a legend, you know, something like that. So, and you know, and I, you know, girlfriend really thinking that at that time that Coach Noy, you know, playing chess at 60, 65, being top, what was it, 60, 65, top 20 in the world, for 40 years, 50 years, that's incredible. But in this game, amazingly, he exchanged the pieces, and okay. So now we got this type of position that just big suffering, because that's it, you know. It's very interesting. Here we are, just okay players, you know, who are we even to, you know, compare ourselves to those players? But we know, because we know what they did right or wrong. We know that here white is just worse, no questions. He has zero counterplay, zero, nothing. And he's just stuck with this one. It's not going to change. Black has to be careful, here we go, tripling, everything. Okay, and there are a few players that you really don't want to play this position against. It's just bad, but Karpov is probably definitely top 5 in history that you don't, probably more, that you don't want to play this. Okay, Queen c6, let's exchange. By the way, one thing that I actually forgot to mention, that was the entire idea, that this move would be horrible. Like, forget about it, like d5, and now, okay, take, like, okay, so pawns on both sides, bishop, knight. Oh, okay, maybe blacks will hold a draw, but yuck. So, no, this, so I'm willing to bet in a reasonable way that Karpov would have taken with the pawn. Okay, white is going to suffer, and he ended up losing the game. Actually, there was this move that, yeah, f4 was bad, but I mean, no, the position itself is all.
Want black to play e5 against
yeah, no, but he's saying maybe to go somehow to rook and game a pawn down, but the position is really bad anyway. But there was this move that Karpov said he was so proud of. This, yeah, this position. Yeah, does anyone know? I remember it, but Karpov was so proud of his move. He says it's, I don't know, most difficult move of the game, the match, his life, something, whatever. No, but it's a very cool move. I hope it's this moment. If not, then I don't know. You see, we're not watching enough classical games to remember this.
Queen e8 possible?
Yeah, Queen e8. No, this is a great move. Because he's really going for after the king. And the queen is like, every time that you move something to another side, especially in such a way, not very direct, it's super cool. That was excellent, Julio. Absolutely great one. Oh, and now the king is dead, and okay. Yada, 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 went on to win this. Actually, now immediately just check. Okay, winning. Here, or the, you know, well, the rook may be giving here something, but just queen d1. Okay, so we get the idea of d5. When I was looking at this game, I said, how come he didn't play d5? Well, because, why was I thinking that way? The d5 has to be played. Because of this game. Played 4 years after it. You know, we have one of the heroes from the previous game and one from the one before that. Is this from, oh, this is from the same match. We have seen before the game that Karpov won. It was game number 4. This is game 11. Actually, this game, Maybe this game decided the match. Possibly. First of all, it's a full point in a drawish position, and well, Kasparov would have become world champion the next match most likely, or he was just proved to be a better player. But still, this one was important. Okay, Nimzo Indian, but it's kind of not very far away from the position we had seen before. Really not that far away. Okay, everything is normal. What would Black's next move be if Kasparov doesn't play d5? 97. We've seen, didn't we see those games 5 minutes ago? So here I am telling you that in the Coach Noy game I will say, oh, you have to play d5. How come you don't play d5? And it's not because I'm a better chess player than Coach Noy. I'm like 1,000 times, well, I mean, I wish that I could even be in the same line, not even. I mean, he's one of the greatest players ever in history. But I had something that he didn't. I had a time machine. I see in, well, let's say when I was 14 years old, 1990. In 1990, I had a time machine. I could see this game, and I could see other games that, you know, maybe Coach Noy wasn't totally aware of the ideas, or even if he was aware of the idea, it's easier when you really see those players. So yeah, no 97. d5. Now let's see what we have. Take, take, take. All right. So this is tiny bit, you know, Black is not the happiest in the world with this bishop, but, you know, we said that when d5 is being played, White, at least theoretically, supposed to enjoy some very, very small advantage. I mean, it's nothing, but Rook fd8, Rook cd1, Rook d7. Yeah, it is interesting. Why not to take? Let's see if we can remember. Why not to take? Bishop takes c6, maybe I will take on d1. Yeah, there has to be some reason why not to take immediately. Actually, I don't remember it, but take on c6, take on d1, maybe just take on b7. But it's probably going to be okay for Black. I think that was a possibility. It was a possibility. If I'm not mistaken, it is a possibility. Okay, let's just see quickly if it is a possibility. Yeah, okay, the reason why I couldn't find why it's impossible is because it is possible. Okay, so that's what he should have played. Yeah, I thought about it, but that's what actually he should have played. Okay, so he played Rook d7. Anyone knows this game other than people that clearly remembers it? No? Okay, other than Ben. Okay, so Queen g4. Now this is interesting because Karpov had some parts sometimes in history that I don't know. I'm not certain really how to explain that, but that it was obvious that either something is really good for him or that he's falling into a trap, and he was falling into a trap. Like, for example, Ben, you remember in the match against Short, when there was bishop on b4, and he can just take a pawn, and he just took the pawn, and Short played rook d2, and he just resigned. Kind of bizarre, right? I mean, we teach young kids, before you can take something, you have to think, what is the opponent preparing if you take, and so on, and I don't know. I mean, I mean, everyone has his fair share of blunders, and, you know, Karpov is, I mean, well, really to say one of the greatest is almost an understatement to someone like Karpov. But yeah, really bizarre. So, what is the most natural move that any of you will play with black? Seriously, most natural move. Rook d8. Which rook? Rook c d8. And what should white play after rook d8? Because think about it. Okay, well, what should white play? Rook e8 check. Okay, rook e8 is a possibility, but after rook e8 I will take. I will play rook e7. Okay, maybe it's about okay position, maybe. I mean, probably not, because when you move, now I will take the pawn. Okay, but here is my question. Do you think that when Karpov played rook d8, that he thought that queen d7 is a possibility? No, this is a very big question. No way he could have thought about it. He had to completely overlook this idea. No way. It cannot be that he's seen it and underestimated. He completely overlooked this idea. No other way, unless, he was, I don't know, he likes to hurt himself, or, it's like, yeah. Maybe he thought about capture. Capture might be a possibility. And then he thought he will capture, and capture. So it would be ugly knight on e1, bishop, and queen here. But black is maybe better there. So it's actually just from the psychological part. It's really interesting because, there was, Kasparov was great for many reasons, but one of them was for the way that he knew how to express himself. There was this famous, many famous classical games from his match against Anand in New York in '95. But there's one example, I don't know if someone will remember it, where Anand just took a pawn. Anand was just threatening to win an exchange. Kasparov was black. You remember this one? Kasparov was black, just threatening to win an exchange. And he overlooked a very simple move by Kasparov. Well, simple idea. Kasparov won with black, and that was pretty much already when the match started to be over. And Kasparov said after it, kind of, under the belt to Anand, but his approach is correct. He said, and I think this is the exact quote, or very similar, if you think that Kasparov, he likes to speak about himself in third party, if you think that Kasparov is not such a bad of a player, do you really think that he missed that move? Like basically, but that's correct. That is very, very correct. Maybe just we'll show it for a second.
Is that the dragon game?
Yeah. Do you think? Because the logic says, sometimes in puzzle books you say, okay, I have a card, you have a card. Which card I'm holding, what color? So if you're smart and you're smart and you're smart, then I know which color I'm having, green or blue, depends on the game and so on. So if you think that really that Kasparov knows what he's doing, well, did he really think that, okay, I'll play queen g4 and after this I will go in defense? This is problem thinking, because this is over.
I think during this game, the analysis was like Karpov relaxed. He thought it's such an easy draw. So
but it's not even a draw. If he doesn't have queen d7, what is the next best move for white? Let's see. I don't know, but let's see. This is my point. You see, this is my point. That what? So he's playing queen g4, then to play bishop b3? Really? And it's interesting because, well, sometimes you have to say, okay, I really don't know, Maybe he thought bishop b3 is equalish, but again, it's tiny in black's favor. Let's say it's still a draw. It just doesn't make sense. It's very similar to what we just said about Anand. You're playing against such an amazing player. And yeah, then there was another great game of Karpov against Kasparov. This is just a very cool quote that the Zemish from Linares 93, that he put all the pieces on the back rank with white. And Karpov Karpov missed b4 by Kasparov, but it was only move, really. So Kasparov said, no, those are the greatest scores. He said, when they told him, Kasparov missed b4, so he said, so what did he want me to resign? Because it's really only move. It's like it's either 1, 0, or 1. The same, well, here it's not 0 or 1, but yeah, it's finish. Resign. Resign. Because everything is, let's just show it. Because, I mean, how to avoid minimum losing? I mean, it's more than another piece. It's like it's the king, it's f7. So, take for a second a picture of this position. Let's take a picture. Okay. Now, you have an iPhone or whatever, or Galaxy, or,
I wanted to give a similar story to, like, why would you make a move that, like, the guy's either losing or you're completely lost? This trap in the Sicilian where e4, c5, knight f3, d6, c3, knight f6.
Let me show it for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I'll go to, no, because that's very cool.
Yeah, I was playing somebody rated like 1400 at the time, and they played knight takes e4, and I'm thinking, did you think I hung up on that move 4?
Oh.
c5.
Yeah, I know.
Knight f3, d6, c3.
But it's knight f, okay.
Knight f3, d6, c3.
I'll tell you the most
Knight
amazing
f6,
story.
e2, yeah. And my opponent thought like 15 seconds, he's like, oh, no, knight takes e4. And I was like, he thought I hung up on that move 4.
I'll tell you the most amazing story. I played in that tournament. This is, I wouldn't say the names because it's not nice. But, no, I wouldn't say the name. I think it was a reasonable tournament. I think that I won it. It was like some one weekend tournament. White was 2300 player, 2400 player. Black was a very decent IM, 2450 FIDE, but strong IM. This was the position on the board. He took, and black won. Long time control. Long time control. No, I said I wouldn't say the players, but actually the white player was a little bit my coach when I was 9 or 10 or something. They said, and no, I'm not blaming him for. Yeah, I am not blaming him for the blunders. But yeah, I was there. It was played in '92. I mean, amazing. And he took, and so this is an amazing story. But yes, this logic of it's either 0 or 1, or either someone made something super stupid or you are ending up to be that. That's the problem. So I wanted just to take one last picture of this position. Not this one. This one. Okay, so rook coming to the 7th, 2 rooks for the queen, and going to lose much more material. We will have some fun after it with the Anand game and Karpov, but before that, serious players. All right.
I can't see who's black. I can't even see.
Fowland.
Oh, I said Fowland.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's kind of funny story. I mean, this entire tournament, because I never played the tournament to make a GM no, like never. I just played, and I actually played. I tell everyone, as less possible games as humanly possible in chess. Like Ben, I think I played 300 FIDE games or less all my life. That's not so many, right? Something like ridiculous. So I played.
That's less than Ivan Shuk in a month.
No, I once spoke with Jay Bonin, and he told me that he played this like in less than a year. If you count all the rapid, and he wasn't joking. That was the amazing part. I don't think he was joking. But I just started my army. I was just in the army, and they didn't want to let me go and this. So it was kind of fun. I was going to play. That's how I should have played most of my chess, because then you are inspired. You think, okay, so I'll blunder, but then I have to go back to the army. So this was a tournament that I played. Yeah, this was played in June or something, or May, and I started in April. So it was kind of cool, and I remember, it was very funny. So I played this tournament that I wasn't even supposed to play, so what can I lose? So this was the position. And inspired by, our heroes, let's see which position we got here. I play d5. Take. Pretty much he has to take. I mean, there are some lines, but they're all ending up really bad for him if he's not taking. Take. I played okay, you know, we should have done it this way, but here there's just like some very super cool tactics that are working. Eliminate this one. It's not very easy, but we just want to go here. So if the bishop take, what should I play if bishop take? Let's put it on the board. How should white play? Well, what is the most forcing move after bishop take? Yes.
Take with a rook.
Take.
Then play rook d7 like
Oh.
the game you showed.
Like the game I showed. Alrighty, so let's see. Yes, if queen c7, there's no queen pretty much. And if queen here, oops. Yeah, and Ben said, so I cannot say anything. Wasn't this like our position before? Like, okay, king was there, but that's it. So, but we will see more of that. Finish. All right. Well, he took with the queen, which is only move, but still losing by force. Knight take. There's just no square. There are just no squares for the queen. Just no squares. For example, if queen g4, I can play rook g8, for example. I mean, there are no squares. If queen a4, what will I play after queen a4? Knight c3, right. I mean, he's just not going to be able to prevent the rook coming from d7. Yeah, just rook coming to d7. Okay, so, you know, do you think that during the game I had the idea, well, you know, we can calculate, but is it helping that you remember this Kasparov-Karpov and you just see exactly the same position? Yeah, it does. Okay, we need to play tiny accurate, you know, there's some ideas, but all in all it's just lost. Exchanging the bishop is not bad. Okay, it's just a matter of white has so much more material just to be safe, like knight will come to b4 and okay, doesn't matter. I'm going to prevent check, take here, then go after f7 and that's it, right? Yeah, and queen c1, knight g1. All right, but, you know, there's no point, you know, the opening and every part. There was only one point in this game. The d5 and the fact that this is as close as possible to Karpov-Kasparov game. The advantage of seeing those games, the real advantage is that you get ideas. How much you remember? Well, it depends, you know, each one. Some people can remember more, some people can remember less, but as long as we see many of those classical games, first of all, many people say, oh, you know, study opening too much is boring and study. No, okay, but how can you be bored if you see a game, a full game, an interesting one? You see a little bit of the opening, little bit of the middle game, little bit of end game. I can watch games as much as possible. You know, yeah, if you now tell me, okay, you have to analyze a line super duper deep and, yeah, okay, it's kind of boring sometimes. But to watch now 100 Karpov games, I can do it as many times as possible. Because we get those ideas, because each time we understand tiny bit more about those smart players and so on. Let's finish with those two examples, actually some little bit funny one that we mentioned. Both of them involve Kasparov and Anand. And actually, even if it's not studying exactly an idea, even studying how to think from those games is priceless. So the first one was in 1995. Yeah, actually Kasparov offered a draw here. After it he said, oh, it's not bad if he wants to make a draw, okay, and if he doesn't, well, at least I bothered him a bit. But okay, this was the position. Now, so what happened if take? Let's see. First of all, we can analyze take. If take, rook e8, knight d5, take, b4, take, rook c4, draw. Well, he's going to defend it somehow, and that's supposed to be a draw disposition. But this was the best line for white. Maybe white is somewhat better there. I wouldn't bet on that. But this is an interesting position. There is another idea here. There is b4. But what is the idea of b4?
Pawn takes rook. I tried to have it when we had the most liquid now.
So, Mr. Feingold, what is the idea after take, and I move this rook?
Then we fork the rooks with the knight.
Ah, fork the rooks with the knight. So if knight c6, you will play knight e7. And if knight c4, you will play knight b6. So, Mr. Feingold, do you think that Kasparov missed that?
He doesn't see anything.
He doesn't see anything. So, other than Anand, they thought that Kasparov missed that. Anyone else here thinking that he missed that? No. Okay, so now why no? Okay, I'll be nice. I'll let you see. Okay. So what's happening here if knight b... And here, maybe it's already worse here, right? Probably, but maybe still knight... No, it's worse here. Well, maybe not.
I looked at this like 3 months ago. I was surprised.
Yeah. So this position, what happened after knight b6?
Is it rook takes and then move your after check? The king moves, you move your.
But I'm going to move here, attacking your rook.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Anand want to move. You see?
I remember.
Ah, remember. But that's sometimes better than, no, it's good. If we remember, remembering is one part. You know what is the really great part? Is to be able to connect what we remember to positions. When you get to do that, then you are really strong. You know, I can tell you, I think, for example, look at many bullet players, players that play really fast chess. One of the great qualities that they recognize patterns and can remember really very well how to do. So what after knight b6? Explosive move. But what is it going to be?
Take on b4, king a3, rook c4,
Rook c4. I'm going to take it.
rook a4.
Ah, okay. So we will play this for another 3-4 hours. Maybe you make a draw.
He's not there. Rook c4, you're close.
Ah. I want to give 1 more minute for 1-2 more minutes for people that don't remember it.
Yeah, I suppose. Now everything is clear.
Ah. When you say everything is clear, you mean the position or the meaning of life? No, this. I'm looking with someone. You know, I speak with someone. I say I have something really important to tell you. Meaning of life? No, just another line. So. No, it's tough.
problems with his king.
Yeah, but before he has problems with his king, while black has problems with his rook.
Yeah.
Sin and not remember, that's like the worst of both worlds. It's like sin and remember, okay. And remember?
No, I've never seen this before.
Never seen. Okay, actually, I'll take it back. Never seeing it before is worse. World Championship match played in New York.
Yeah, this is place World Trade Center, and I don't know.
I was thinking of saying that, but I said, no, you know, it's better not to.
That move is fine.
Knight d6, rook e14, rook c2.
Rook where?
Yay.
Rook takes c2. You just beat Anand.
Now, he would have offered a drop to Rook.
No. So if king take rook, we just take the other one, and if take here, 2 pawns up. But you know, you have to think. Kasparov was basically he's right. Seriously, what he's saying like, dude, like, come on. Really, I missed that. Like, I mean, if it was being normal grandmasters, yes, we see blunders, we see, but you have to always be on the defensive side. If you see a strong player that blunder, you know, you should really take it back. Really, I want to believe it. I want to see it. I want to touch it. That should be the approach. World champion in a world championship match. Yeah, so that's why Kasparov comment was, you really think that Kasparov, speaking about himself, missed that? No. Okay, I'll show you one last, the other position that we mentioned. It is not as amazing as this, like, but it's a very cool comment. Actually, I want to see if they have the version here that is analyzed, because the analysis that is made on ChessBase is by Anand to this game. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. It's both of those examples all stay in the family. So Kasparov 93. Let's see if this is the version, because it's so cool. What he expected me to resign. It's a very cool comment. Alrighty. So Kasparov, Karpov, Linares. Here the analysis by Anand. Okay, so this is a great game in the Zemish. D4, knight f6. Okay, and we don't need to discuss much theory. A6. Yeah, this is pretty big decision if we want to close the center or play d5. Sorry, if we want to open or play d5. And of course, okay, basically there is a big question about, we'll take that back. There's a big question about this pawn. I mean, what, you want to play 98? No, forget about it. 98, some f4, something. No, we cannot even think about those moves. So b4, b5. Take. Queen take. So this is an incredible move. So now, we know that b4 was played, but what is the problem? What would white play after knight g4? Bishop where? But bishop c5, maybe possible, but
Kill the g7 bishop.
yeah, bishop d4, right? I think so. I think I want to go bishop. I think this is at least logical idea. Kill the other bishop, and I mean, it's really bad for black. I mean, if I remember correctly, okay, b4 is only move. Let's be lazy and see. Yeah, I mean, you see, b4 black is tiny better, equal, unclear. Yeah, bishop. He said it's actually not that horrible. Bishop g1, maybe because he's afraid of some lines we take in e3 squares. I was thinking, but now b4 starts to be more and more. I said this is clearly not as clear a position as the one with Anand, but okay, now we start seeing that it is spreading, right? Like b4 is minus half a point about, and knight g4 is plus half a point looking. So it's almost a pawn advantage. That's That's a lot. But, you know, the comment is priceless. Because everything here was, basically, they thought it's forced. And now look what Anand is, and Anand played in this tournament. When playing d takes e5, it was rumored that Karpov missed this. Kasparov was more to the point. Did they expect me to resign? But basically, of course, this is tiny bit evil. Because, okay, it's like it's not really a clear blunder. It's not, but maybe in Kasparov's world, understanding the position and thinking about his opponent Karpov, which they played almost 200 games in real chess, and I don't know how many world championship matches, 84, 85, 86, 87, 90. 5 world championship matches. So he's saying basically, dude, like, no, well, I don't miss those things, and pretty much also you shouldn't. The idea from those, you know, just seeing, you know, just by looking at this comment, to me, it always tells me that if I see a very good possibility when looking at something, knowing the opponent, knowing that you're playing someone strong, you have to take a step back. So, you know, we were looking at some games, mainly Karpov, Kasparov, Kasparov, Karpov. I showed one 5-10 minutes example how I was fortunate to get a very, very similar idea, and actually it was crucial for me to make Grandmaster norm in that tournament. So it was like, no, I came back to my base, like, you know, a Grandmaster after a tournament, then I quit playing chess. But that was the, you know, it was funny. You know, I would suggest anyone, you know, to take whichever game collection book that you like. You want more aggressive players? Okay, you can get a lot from Kasparov, from Fischer, from whoever. You want more solid from Alyoshin. You want more solid ones, you know, Karpov, Capablanca, Smyslov, Botvinnik. They are endless. You know, just to see the games with some comments, make effort to think yourself during the game. If you're just going to play it on the board, obviously you need to play it on the board, right? Not from reading from the book. If you're just going to play it without thinking, you're really not doing the best. The best is you play, you think, you make effort to understand and study. So, you know, I don't know, we were doing like 1.5 hours, tiny bit of those, and I think each and every one can do it for, well, every week or whatever your time allows you to see at least 1 or 2 classical games. I think that it's impossible not to benefit and learn from this. That's what I wanted to say, and I don't know. If I'll get to be again in St. Louis, I will have to, I don't know, tackle Ben with some other positions that maybe he never seen.
What happens after Queen B4?
What after Queen B4? No, after, you don't remember? There is only one move.
All I remember is white pieces are all in the first rank in about 10 moves.
Ben Feingold, after now Queen takes B4, if you don't see the move, do you expect me to resign?
Yes. Well, I assume C5, I don't know.
It's like, you know, the James Bond movies. What do you want me, or, you know, what I expect you to die, Mr. Bond, right? It's like,
You expect me to talk? I expect you to die.
yeah, what do I expect you to die? Yeah,
That was Goldfinger, right?
many movies, but C5, yeah, but Goldfinger.
Probably.
Yeah, this is amazing,
C5, yeah.
but no, and then
This is what I was looking at. Too old.
make both of us. But yeah, but this is just incredible.
There's a really good Samish for you to look at later when Kasparov was 13. Laputian.
Oh, I know it,
Kasparov,
yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, so we have 19.
Okay, so yeah, so actually we'll just show the position because it's so cool. Okay, back. So knight b1. Oh, and there was this, you know the story in the game when he promoted the queen.
You have to make it a knight. Yeah, that was funny.
But this is really world champions, right? Because, okay, just, okay. Yeah, knight c1 is coming.
H4 with the mating attack.
Yeah.
Latest up to H4.
Yeah, so, no, this is incredible. But the big story was that, okay, Kasparov played this move, and Karpov had very little time, and he left the pawn there. or he said queen. Like, okay, you know, it's like no kindergarten. But you have to understand something. There's some level of that, you know, you would play this and the opponent will just say okay and take. If it's complete beginners, they will tell you to put a queen, or if it is like really incredibly great world champions, they are also on that part. So Karpov had no time, and there was a scandal because you know what he played? He played queen take knight and push the clock, like saying, okay, you know, you put a knight as far as I'm concerned. So they called the arbiter, and they gave Karpov 2 more minutes or something like this on the clock. But it reminds me, a friend of mine, again, no names, a grandmaster, young grandmaster, was playing, he got to play some friendly match with Karpov, like in 2000 and a bit. And they played many blitz games. And he was telling me how it works. He finished actually about even, or really even. But he was telling me that he offered Karpov a draw. In some games, Karpov said no. Then they played 5 more moves. Karpov was completely lost. You know what he did? A draw and started organizing the pieces. I had, by the way, same experience. You know, it's funny, but I was working with Coach No, and we actually get to play quite a lot of blitz matches there, which, yeah, I was lost in all of them, but somehow ended up winning 2 out of 3. But the best part was we played 7 minutes, and whenever I had, like, let's say I had 2 minutes left and he had half a minute, but he was winning. I've seen an amazing part. Yeah, he started putting the pieces again. No, he won the game. You know, I had 2 minutes, he had half a minute, and he was winning on the board. Well, objectively, new game. That's it, you know. Like, that's it, you know. So, yeah, exactly. So when my friend was telling me that he played this way with Karpov, I told him, yeah, you know, I had the same with the other part. So because for them it sounds kind of funny. You say, like, why is it so important? It's so important to him. That's why, you know, we say, oh, it's fun. But that's why they are Karpov. That's why they are Kasparov. That's why they are Coach Noy, because they don't care. It's like they will win everything, and they cannot lose to some okay grandmaster in some. They cannot. And you say, well, that's why they are where they are. So the big story here, but it didn't really change much. What does he play after King E1? Somehow he's going after him. I don't remember. Bishop G4 is winning. Just checkmate. Bishop G4. No, because it was so funny. There was checkmate in the corner. He just resigned. Something so beautiful. Rook G1. Well, let's show it. It's like it's unbelievable, this checkmate. Like something like this. If King C1, Rook D1, and here, yuck. Yeah, that's amazing. But we went and saw these games. You know, we know all those games because we've seen them. Because those are classical. Each game has his little story behind it. You know, forget about just the chess. So, as much as I can sell you to see classical games, I did. Now it's up to you. Alrighty. That's it. Close the lights, you know.